Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today with lovely Sullivan. Here he is. Hello everybody. Oh, grab my little wash. You know mate, grab my little wash. Thank you. Yeah, I'm here today with another video review of a Arrow film. It's a movie I picked up at CEX a week or so ago at Stevenage. And it's the 1989 Hell High. Which is a bit of a slasher film. So let's have a little look at this actual copy. This is it looks like it's an Arrow sort of first pressings because it's got the slipcase, which they tend to only issue on the first pressings, and also comes with a booklet, which is also normally only on the first pressings. Then afterwards, when you buy it, it will pretty much be like in a normal case, like that. But when they sent the initials one, probably to encourage people to buy it, that they give it a slipcase and they give it like a booklet. So this comes with the booklet, which is really cool. It comes with the movie, single disc, but it's a 4K restoration from a 2K print, and it's a nice little set. So what do I think of the film? First of all, before I do that, let's give a little synopsis on the film. It starts off with this little girl playing in like a shed with her dolls. So she sees this couple coming there, they're like on the bike, and she goes out, and the couple go into the shed, and it's like they're gonna try and make out, but they kind of don't. So then they go out on the bike again and off. The little girl then collects this sort of gonge stuff, a green gonge, and she's sort of like she's going to use it against the lad and the girl on the bike. So they end up falling to their death on these sort of like getting sort of spiked on these big metal poles. And then it then cuts to 18 years later, and the young girl is now a teacher. She's a teacher at a school, and she's still got those sort of psychological issues carrying on in her head. How, how she's managed to get to be a teacher with her sort of like she's not the most convincing of teachers anyway. She's like a biology teacher. Anyway, she's trying to teach the school, and that's when we get introduced to the sort of like the young teens or the rebels of this sort of film. And there's three lads and a girl that we get introduced to, who are like the ones that are the main story. Anyway, one of the lads is a real sort of cocky lad, and he sort of disobeys her commands at the school, asking her to collect all the papers in, and he ends up getting a pimp hand.
File? File. Yes, ma'am. They're five.
So yeah, so after he gets that, he then obviously he feels embarrassed and stuff like that. So him and his friends, they decide what they're going to do, because they want to get a little bit of revenge on her for embarrassing her. So they decide to go to the swamps where those killings happened, and she got all that green gonge, and they collected gonge themselves, and then they sort of like disguised themselves and went to her house to play a prank. but the prank sort of backfires on them. She sort of jumps out the window and they think she's dead. So one of the guys goes to collect one of the football players back at the school's jersey to place in the house to try and make it look like that it was nothing to do with him, but this guy. But as he's out doing that, she's not dead, and she comes back and gets her revenge on the people of the young ones that had sort of done the tricks on her. So that is sort of like the premise. I don't want to say anything more because I do not want to kill any sort of like storyline or plot line or endings. I don't want to do that for you guys in case you want to see it yourself. So what do I think of Hell High? Fantastic, absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the best horrors I've seen in a long time, to be honest. um, I I haven't seen it before. I thought I had because I just couldn't remember because I've seen so many horror films and sort of like I thought, well, Hell High rings a bell. I must have probably seen it about like on VHS or that back in the day in the 80s, but never got round to watching it, and I'm so glad I did. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. It's got a good amount of kills in there, and they're quite cool kills. You actually see some of the kills, which is great. That's always a win for me. The characters are really cool. They're played really well. Yeah, the teens, the cocky lad, he's horrible, but he plays the part so well. It makes you not like him, you know. So he's obviously playing a good part, and she's quite good. She's sort of like you're thinking, how's she a teacher? You do question yourself because she's quite sort of withdrawn and quiet and stuff like that. And I think, well, most teachers are quite outspoken. They have to be to take control of what they're doing, right? But she's quite quiet and sort of like in her own brain sort of thing. But she still plays the part really well. She's quite convincing as this sort of like psycho. Um, but yeah, it was really good. I actually really enjoyed the film. Um, it's it's just really good. It's just one of the best sort of horror movies that I've seen recently. I know it's an old film, but it's a really cool film. So the positives of the film, the transfer is fantastic. Looks really cool. It could have been filmed now, you know, look, because it could have been filmed now with an 80s feel. It looks that good. The acting's really quite cool. There is some little bit of like bad acting moments, but that adds to it. But there's not a lot of bad acting in it. It's actually really well acted. Um, the locations are really cool. The house is it's quite a creepy sort of film. It's classed as a slasher. It is a slasher, but to me, it's a little bit more of a revenge movie than an actual sort of full on sort of slasher. Um, but it's fantastic. Um, Other positives about the film, yeah, I do like the characters. I think they're played really well. I love this edition from Arrow. It's really cool, and I'm just not sure why it's taken so long for this to actually come to my attention. Um, but yeah, and they wear these creepy masks and that, which is really cool. And the film sort of takes you on sort of different angles that you didn't sort of expect. A lot of it you do expect, you know, and there's some bits of comedy in there. There's the football coach, which is like a sort of budget Jack Black. He looks like a budget Jack Black, um, and he's kind of funny. He's like she's well out of his league, but he's trying on that with her, and that's quite cool. It's got that real 80s feel to it. The soundtrack is really cool as well. I love the music in the film, really good. And there's one really cool part when you go to the girl of the group's bedroom with the guy. She's got posters on her wall, and she's got a poster of Echo and the Bunnymen up there. So that was straight away an extra point for me. Really cool. And I absolutely loved it. Negatives about the film, it ended. I just wanted it to go on a bit longer. I was so enjoying it. For oh, please don't end. Um, so that was a negative. I just think it was a little bit way too short. I think it runs about an hour and 23 minutes. I think just an extra 10-15 minutes of the story because it was so well made would have been absolutely brilliant. But sometimes things are better in smaller amounts. In it, I will be watching this again. I will be watching it with this the commentaries. Now the special features on here. It's got 2 or 3 different audio commentaries. It's got interviews of all the cast and crews, and then it's got like a documentary on the locations, well, they're going back to where the film was actually made and showing you the locations now. So that's quite cool. I'm going to look forward to watching all of those. So negatives, just too short. That's the only thing I can say. So to me, this is an essential watch, and I'm going to score it 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. This is going to become one of my favorite horrors. I just know it. It's kind of, I'm trying to think what sort of films to compare it to. I suppose if you think The Burning, where they torment the caretaker there, don't they? And he comes back and gets his revenge. It's kind of like that sort of base sort of thing. They torment her, play tricks on her, so she gets her revenge on there. Um, there was one bit of a scene where it looks like he was gonna sort of rape her, but he didn't because he got stopped. But that could have took us down the long of more like Last House on the Left kind of film. But it's brilliant. It's a must essential watch as far as I'm concerned. And if you're a horror fan, it's definitely one you need to have in your collection. So that's Hell High. Um, Please, guys, check the movie out. It's really, really cool. Have any of you seen it? Write down below if you have. Tell me what you think of it. Um, so I've got a few more videos coming out. They'll probably be a bit slower on my videos coming out. So because, as you know, guys, I've been off work quite a while with my health, but I am returning to work in the next week or in the next few days or next week. So I will be returning to work. So obviously I'm going to be needing to focus a bit of time onto that, but I will still be releasing some videos and keeping you up to date. I do have some plans of doing some more top tens. I've got a couple I've already sort of like wrote down, ready to do. And I also want to be doing a review on Satan's Blade that I got from Stevenage. And also, I want to do a couple of reviews of a couple of the Species movies. And there's a few older films that I want to go back and have a little look at and do reviews for you because I just not really sort of like reviewed them or talked about them very much. So I will be doing some of that and some more top tens. Over the next few days, and also I will be putting out some more music sort of videos if you're interested in that side. I might try and post some gaming videos up of some game footage and also some of my spiders. So got all that sort of coming up. Like I said, it might be a little bit more staggered just because obviously when I return to work my free time will be less than it is now. So but there we are. But I will obviously have days off and evenings and things, so I will obviously be able to get some stuff out there for you. Anyway, guys, go and check out some channels for me if you don't mind. I'd like you to go and check out Horror Hands channel. Um, I'd like you to check out Pzoel's channel, really cool. And I'd like you to check out the Horror Geek and Man v Film, Sarah of Horror, Horror in Todge, and of course Russell's RS Designs. Now Russell's in there because although he doesn't really put out much horror, I don't think he's put out any horror content, but he's a big horror fan. He's a good friend of mine, and he's got his own sort of channel. It's mostly around sort of spiders, but still go and check it out. I am trying to get him to sort of do some sort of top tens to try and put out on his channel because that'd be really cool. Him sort of showing us his favourite films because it's always good to share. It's always good to see other people in the hobby what their favourites are and what their views of films are because that's sometimes you come across some films you've not seen and you actually come across some films you think, wow, that was a really, really cool film. So thanks to that person, I've now got a new sort of favourite film. And films are important. They really are important to you. You know, I couldn't imagine my life without my films, without my comedies, sitcoms. I will be doing some work on some of those. I want to be doing one on the buses. I want to be doing one on Del Boy, of course, and I probably want to do one on Law and Hardy. So I'm going to get some of those sort of videos out for you as well. Anyway, guys, until next time, please look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I see you all soon.